John Seamus Gaffney, you're the bass player and songwriter for Sinister. I know you have a broad background in music. You have played in symphony orchestras and you played in jazz groups. So why metal? Why Sinister?
Uh, yeah, I have a lot of experience playing different kinds of music, but when I first started playing, when I was younger, I think the music that meant the most to me, that moved me the most, was heavy metal. Uh, Probably 1980, when I heard AC/DC's Back in Black. That was really the first like hard rock heavy metal album that really had an effect on me. And then from there I discovered more things like Iron Maiden and Judas Priest and Dio and Ozzy. But I also I just like to do different things. So I like to listen to different kinds of music, jazz and classical, and as I got older, I just wanted to become a better and better player. So I went to school for music, studied classical bass, the string bass, and so that's always been a part of my life too. But I think deep down, I always come back to heavy metal. That's what I think is in my heart the most. I'm at the end of the day, I'm a metalhead.
Mm. So what importance do you think your knowledge in, say, classical music have for your writing and for Sinister?
I think that it helps in, like, for instance, the guitar harmonies that you hear in all of our songs. That's really, I learned how to do that from when I was in school and studying classical music and studying harmonies. If a lot of guitar harmonies, and the same thing with the vocal harmonies, a lot of the guitar and vocal harmonies that I write, the guitar lines don't move in the same direction. One guitar line will be going up, the other one's going down, or crossing each other. And I tend to think very, because I have a background in music theory, I tend to think very chordally, meaning I'm thinking of the chord. Okay, the guitar 1 is playing on the 3rd, guitar 2 is playing on the root, guitar 3 is playing on the 5th of the chord, and that's a lot of times how I structure a lot of the things, a lot of my, like the guitar harmonies. The same thing with the vocal harmonies. The stuff that I sing, or the stuff that's on the CDs, the harmonies tend to be different than what the main melody line is. A lot of times they're moving in contrary motion, or something like the choir part at the end of The Circle is Broken. I just kind of sat down and I looked at the chords and I mapped out, okay, for each different voice is going to sing this, and that I learned how to do all that from studying classical music, studying harmony and seeing how that works in music. And I also use it in when I'm composing too. Like I like to, and I'd say I got this from jazz. Jazz music modulates a lot. It starts off in one key and then it moves to another key and then it moves to another key. And I do that a lot in Sinister Realm. I find it interesting to the ear to have different sections move to different keys. For instance, a song like the instrumental off the first CD, Enter the Sinister Realm, that's modulating. It's modulating in fifths. It's like the one guitar solo spot is in E, then it moves to A, then it moves to the bass solo is in D, and then it moves back to G, and then it moves to C, and then it moves back to where the original melody, the opening riff, which is in F. So I modulate through a whole bunch of different keys, and I use some techniques that I learned from studying classical and studying jazz, using the fifth of the chord to move you to another key. So so yeah, the classical and jazz things that I've studied, I use them quite a lot actually in Sinister Realm with the songs and the harmonies and everything.
So when you're writing, how much is from the heart and how much is from the head, if you see what I mean?
Yeah, I think I always start from the heart. It's got to, you start with a riff or, for me, it's, I try to capture an emotion a lot of times. Like the Demon Seed or the Crystal Eye, I wanted it to kind of have a certain feel to it. The Crystal Eye, for instance, I wanted it to feel sort of epic. So I kind of had that feeling that I wanted to convey, and then the riff came along, and then I had the vocal melody. And then a lot of times the things I was talking about before about the modulations and stuff, I'll sort of do that as I've gotten the structure of the song down, as I've gotten the chorus and the main riffs kind of down. I'll say, well, you know what, I need something different here. So how about for the guitar solo, let's modulate to a different key for the guitar solo. Or maybe like in Machine God, the middle section of the song, the As We Left for the Horizon part, I thought, well, let's do something different here. Let's modulate to a different key for that, you know. So a lot of times I'll throw that in kind of later. It's like, all right, I've got the basic feel of the song down. I've got some riffs going. And then just to add some variety, maybe I'll put a section in there that changes key. Or when I sit down with the guitar harmonies, you know, I'll have the main harmony, the main melody that I want. And then maybe I get theoretical when I'm thinking of the guitar harmonies that I want to add to it. You know, that's when I'll say, all right, let's do a fifth here. I'll experiment with different things. And sometimes from understanding music theory, it allows me to experiment with different things, and that opens up some doors in itself. Just like sometimes just picking up the bass and just randomly playing stuff, I'll go, hey, that sounds pretty cool. You know, I don't know where that came from, but hey, it sounds pretty cool. I'm going to go with that. But then sometimes there's other times where I deliberately think, all right, I want this type of sound. I want to modulate up a minor third, or I want to use a tritone, or something like that. You know, so they kind of work hand in hand. But at the end of the day, I've got to feel it in my heart. I've got to feel it in my, I've got to feel it in my stomach. You know, at the end of the day, that's really what it's all about. I could care less, because nobody listens to music, you know, from a theoretical, well, you know, this song sucked, but it had, you know, a cool modulation. Nobody cares. You know, it has to be a good song at the end of the day. And all the music theory and stuff like that, those are just means to an end, you know. And a good song can be a simple song, or it can be a complex symphony. You know, it doesn't really matter. A good song is a good song, and how you get there is inconsequential. You know, it's just that I get there by whatever means necessary.
Yeah. Sinister are playing a very classic traditional form of heavy metal music. You can hear obvious connections to bands like Priest, Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden, just to name a few of them. How important is it to you, if at all, to stay true to that form of metal?
For me, it's important because to me that's what Sinister Realm is all about. Sinister Realm is about traditional metal, although I do listen to other types of metal. You know, I listen to black metal, and there are some death metal that I listen to, and some progressive metal and stuff like that. But Sinister Realm is about traditional metal, and it's my way of paying homage to the music that influenced me the most. As I mentioned before, we should stop.